Should the Chiefs play Toney in the Super Bowl?
I'm not playing him. When's the last time he played? He didn't play in the playoffs, and they've been very good without him. I'm not playing him. That's just me. I think they've gotten used to playing without him. Patrick Mahomes has the utmost confidence in the games that the receivers have played since he's gone out. And Ocho, you and I, we talk about this all the time. Rasheed Rice has taken that next step, the step that you want. And for a rookie to take the step that he took during the middle of the season from all the drops and not playing up to standard, now you look at him, he's playing like a veteran guy. And we know Travis Kelce is going to be Travis Kelce. I personally would not play Kadarius Toney. I'm going to be surprised if he's in uniform on Sunday.
I would play him. Listen, I understand the drops. I understand the offsides. I understand the struggles that they had offensively with Kadarius Toney. But this is the biggest game of them all. I want all weapons on deck for Patrick Mahomes so he doesn't have to be Superman, so he doesn't have to do so much. Rasheed Rice is playing well. Travis Kelce is playing well. What happens if you add that other dynamic and you get that Kadarius Toney with confidence? Let him touch the ball early, get out there, and have a little fun in the biggest game.
You say that.
Well, let me say this to y'all. First, a couple of things. It's love to see nightcap on daycap right here. That's number one. Proud of y'all, man.
You two are wild.
Y'all, listen, proud of y'all. Keep doing y'all thing. I watch y'all every chance I get. I'm real proud of y'all. Let me say this. I get where Ochocinco's coming from with all of this, okay? Especially when I think about what Toney did in the Super Bowl last year.
Yes.
Now, I'm not satisfied with what I've seen him do this year, dropping passes, having a lot of problems, and running his damn mouth, to be quite honest. I mean, you really need to shut the hell up. You really need to shut the hell up because you haven't had a season where you're going to sit up there and scream to the world, I'm not injured, I'm not injured, I'm not injured. You know, you're undermining the organization and not taking into account. Listen, they were doing you a favor by alluding to the injury as opposed to saying, we just didn't want you on the damn ground. We just didn't want. So you're not appreciating that. But having said all of that, like Ochocinco just says, the biggest game of the year, all hands on deck, and you never know what emergency you might have where you might require that extra body. I get what you're saying, Shannon. You're not wrong. It's just that if I'm gonna roll a dice, if I'm gonna roll a dice, it's gonna be in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna take my chance.
Nah.
Yes.
They went on the road to Buffalo. They were not even supposed to be in the Super Bowl. Right. They went on the road to Buffalo, and the receivers played exceptional well. They go to Baltimore, who's going to probably have the league's MVP and the #1 defense in football. And they did quite well without Kadarius Toney. I'm not going to bring him in. Okay. Remember, we talked about you and I talked about it on Nightcap.
Yeah.
Bringing back Mark Andrews, who'd been out of 6-7 weeks.
Right.
Why bring him back?
I have to say something about you, Shannon Sharpe. You're not a very forgiving person.
No.
But you're not a very, I figured that out. You're not a very forgiving person, Shannon. Let me tell you why. Because when the Kadarius Toney, when one of the first things you brought up, why did Giants let him go? You reminded everybody, what the hell? He did something wrong there.
Yes.
So you bring those receipts. You understand?
Yes.
All I'm trying to say is, Ochocinco, one would argue, has a more compassionate side. Yeah, and he's willing to give the brother another chance.
I know what Kadarius Toney can do. I know what a Kadarius Toney with confidence can do. Getting him the ball early. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Let him touch it. A screen, smoke, reverse play. Once he gets set in his head, you know what? They trust me. He's going to be another dynamic offensive player for them in the biggest game.
They did that, Ocho. You bet me $200. I bet he don't have another drop. I bet he don't have a drop that lead to an interception. Now tell the people at home what happened.
So have you not ever had a drop before?
$200.
Have you ever not had a drop before? I'm just asking you. Okay.
But not after.
So at some point you have to be forgiven, especially based on the game that they have coming up Sunday.
I didn't drop in game 1, game 2, game 3. It led to interception. Line up outside that ended up costing my team the game. Drop. And I talk about, I'm healthy. I'm a #1 receiver. If they give me the ball, I never did all that.
Okay. All right.
That is a lot. That is a lot, Ocho.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But listen, I'm very forgiving. Well, I'm all for second chances, especially in a game like this, so Patrick Mahomes doesn't have so much on his shoulders.
What about third chances? 4 chances?
God said turn another cheek. Yeah.
You only got 2?
He said he's very forgiving. He said he's forgiving. Chad,
you hear that well?
You know a lot about offense.
Yes.
Which of these offenses do you like better? They're different.
They're completely different. Obviously, the quarterbacks in each one. I think Patrick Mahomes has to do more with less. And, I mean, if you switch him with the 49ers, my goodness, talk about dynasty, wouldn't be close.
Right.
But what Brock Purdy, this offense is dynamic. It's special, similar to that of the Warriors. I don't even watch basketball, but the Warriors when they had Kevin Durant.
Okay.
That's how I see their offense. And what they ask Brock Purdy to do,
right.
he does just that and not too much.
The simple answer to the question is San Francisco because of the personnel.
Yes.
And CMC is really the key because he's a guy you can dip and dunk to, and your offense could still look spectacular.
Yes,
right.
So if you got to throw the ball vertically, right, then that's a different animal because you're asking more of Brock Purdy, especially going up against Patrick Mahomes. That might be too much. But because you've got a reliable weapon right next to you in CMC, I think that ultimately tips the scales of making San Francisco a more dynamic offense to answer that question.
Yeah, because you got CMC who can run between the tackles. He can run outside. You can put him in the slot. You can put him out wide, and he's excellent in pass pro.
Right.
He's what we call a 5-tool back. He's one of the few backs in the NFL that can play every down. He's a 1 through first down, second down, third down back. He's not a specialty. Some guys, they can only play third down. Some guys, you can only play on first and second down. But he can play. He doesn't have to lead the field, and he normally doesn't lead the field unless he's fatigued or he's dinged, something like that. But he's special. He's going to be more so the reason why they win this ball game. Can Kansas City stop that vaunted running game of the 49ers that everything is placated off of? Now the play action, now the boot action comes into effect. But Christian McCaffrey's going to be unbelievable. Back to your point, Kadarius Toney, he'll be ready next year.
We got your two TV partners here.
Yes.
What's the difference?
Man, this dude here, I have no idea what he's going to say. I have a general idea. And that Stephen A., even though we got Disney Unplugged, that's something we're working on behind the scenes.
No, you're not.
We're gonna have to go to Bob Iger's house and have a conversation about Disney Unplugged.
No doubt.
But I think the thing is with Ocho is that we have such a great understanding, and he's from Florida, I'm from Georgia, but we're so opposite. I'm talking about. He's over here on this spectrum, and I'm way over here. And you see all that space in between?
Yeah.
But it works.
Chad, what do you love about working with him?
Everything. For one, he gave me opportunity. Obviously, we are on completely different sides of the spectrum. And what I've been able to do is I've been able to adapt well, and we bounce very, very well off each other. The chemistry.
You do.
I don't even have to talk to him every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't even talk at all. But when that camera turn on, it's dynamic.
vibe.
It's special. It's magic. And it will always be that way.
Absolutely.
And you know what? They always say you don't know what Chad you can get. You don't know what I'm gonna say. But depending on the surrounding I'm in, you already know I'm going to adapt and conduct myself in the right manner.
For me personally, I mean, I'm just looking at it. Shannon said it best when he was on the talk months ago actually, when we talked about I knew him, but I ain't know him. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to know each other, and I got a lot of love for Shannon and the great work that he does and a great partner that he is on this show. And this brother right here, when he was an all-world receiver with the Bengals, he was always good to me.
Yeah.
He always talked all the time.
Shannon's always good to me, too. Like when he invited me to his party last night, that was good.
Wait, you got invited?
Right.
No, I didn't get invited. Chad, I got no invite.
I didn't get an invite.
I got no invite.
Oh, you did get one.
Dad, you know what?
I promise you, Shannon sent an invite.
No.
He just used a whole bunch of intermediaries to get the invite to you. You understand? Because he wants plausible deniability if it gets to you a little bit.
Honestly, so last night I'm at this little Gatorade event, and then everyone's like, oh, we're going to head over to Shannon's party.
Wow.
And I was like, I can't go. I can't crash. It's like wedding crashers.
We invited Rail plus one.
Shannon's party.
What's the shades, man? Wait, I mean, you didn't bring me my shades, man. You didn't bring some shades.
Cardi, I know that. I'm just saying. I get you the guy's number. I got you.
I know where to go.
Oh, you know where to go.
I'm just saying to you that the couple of ones that you had,
yes, sir.
I was like, I thought you would bring me a pair.
Got a nice collection.
I got an extra pair for you. You can take a pair of mine.
I thought we were saving.
Huh?
I thought we were saving.
I am saving.
Cartier saving, huh?
Oh, yeah, I get these free.
How'd you get out here?
Huh? Oh, I flew here on a Global Express.
Exactly.
I didn't have to pay nothing, though.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't have to pay nothing.
Chad, biggest X factor for this game?
Biggest X factor? Wait, depending on who I want to win in general, or we have to be, I need better context.
Okay. Biggest X factor in terms of who you want to win, who needs to show up to win.
I would love to see the dynasty talk continue with the Chiefs. So I would like Patrick Mahomes to do what he's always done. He doesn't have to do anything extra. He's already dynamic in his own right. But I would love for them to play Kadarius Toney to take some of the pressure off him and add another component to that for them offensively.
You think he could catch? Sorry, real quick. You think he could catch Tom?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
But not the ring count.
Absolutely.
I think he got a
He's a
chance.
two.
I think you know why, Molly?
Really?
You know why, Molly? Because of that
You
Kansas
know
City
how hard
defense.
it is,
Because
though,
of that
to get
Kansas
to a
City
Super
defense.
Bowl.
Because of that
Good.
Kansas City. Listen, this is what Kansas
And the
City.
defense is young.
Molly,
Very young.
this is what Kansas City has done that should make us believe it's possible. To lose Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
To win a Super Bowl after he's gone. And for the defense to get you here this time instead of the offense. So last year you won it without Tyreek Hill, even though you were still leaning on your offense. This year your offense nosedived a bit, and the defense carried you. So when you see those different components in place, and like Mina Khan said, how they structured this organizationally, oh yes, with Patrick Mahomes still being him, they got a chance.
The only thing that concerns me is how much longer Andy's going to do it. Coach Belichick and Tom had a 2-decade run.
Yeah.
Do you believe that Andy will be around another 6 to 7 years?
I think that's about it. I think it's maxed out at that. But I think he
and
could do
Kelsey.
that.
Hold up. Do you think he needs Andy to do it? Right?
I have a question. I got the heir apparent to Andy.
Who?
Eric Bieniemy will be back next year.
Right.
Eric Bieniemy will be back next year.
Right.
And what I like about the thing of them Patrick Mahomes being able to catch Tom is the way they can manipulate the cap and always put pieces around them offensively. Now, one centerpiece is always going to be there, and that's in Patrick Mahomes. So they will always be in contention year in and year out.
Yeah.
And just building around him a good supporting cast, you'll be fine.
I don't know if the succession plan that's in place is going to be like Tony Dungy when he left it for what's the guy?
Tony Dungy.
Tony Dungy and the Colts.
Yes.
And they left. They had a succession. Jim Caldwell. They had a succession plan.
Right.
Or the 49ers.
Right.
When Bill Walsh stepped away,
Right.
Seifert stepped in.
Right.
I don't know if there's a succession plan that's in place
Right.
in
Well,
Kansas City
let me
like
throw
that.
this question at the both of you. What do you want? What I mean by that question is this. Do we want the Chiefs to win and to be that dynasty? Or do we want somebody like San Fran to come along, knock them off, so we can have a situation where there's something to look forward to in both conferences when you're talking about a collision course, a confrontation for years and years and years to come? That's a question that we might have to ask ourselves, because if you look at San Francisco, their roster looks better, particularly offensively.
They're better roster top to bottom.
Right? If Kansas City finds a way to beat, they ain't going to get worse. Kansas City's not going to get worse
No.
in the years to come. So if they win this year, you're going to find yourself saying, well, damn, where's the competition?
But I feel like they're
Do we want
both a
that?
great story.
Yeah.
To see Mr. Irrelevant win a Super Bowl
Right.
for the first time,
Right.
or to see a burgeoning dynasty
Right.
that could
But-
potentially compete with the Patriots, which we never thought was going to happen.
I think the Chiefs face more obstacles in the AFC than the 49ers will face in the NFC.
Way
Right.
more.
I mean, Brock Purdy, if on the trajectory that he's on, he's going to get better. Who in the NFC as a team do we see stepping up challenging them?
That's true. Well, listen.
Because now they get their draft picks back.
Well, we did like what we saw from Green Bay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did like it.
Yeah.
we
We did like what we
loved it.
saw from
Love is
Detroit.
something
We did like
special.
what we saw from Detroit in the
Right.
first half.
Right.
I mean, they keep running the football in the second half. Who knows if San Francisco's even here?
Right.
So we're seeing teams on the come up in the NFC now.
But here's the thing. The thing that we saw about the 49ers, they were there last year in the NFC Championship game. If Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt, the 49ers believe they're in the Super Bowl last year. They come back. Now, we don't normally see teams in the NFC come back to NFC championships like we see teams in the AFC.
Fair enough.
Right.